My name is Barry Johnson, Platinum Senior Vice President with 5 Links. I had no prior experience with multi-level marketing. On top of that, I was already very successful. I had a very successful law practice. I had been practicing law for well over a decade at that point. I worked for the most powerful, most prestigious law firms in the United States and had a very significant and successful corporate legal practice. And so when I got started, I was, things were fairly comfortable. A lot of the money that I had invested in real estate began to turn upside down, and I started looking for a plan B. I really wanted something because I didn't want to be practicing law until I was 60 years old. There were too many times I would be sitting at a conference room table with multimillionaires sitting all around the table looking at me to give them legal advice. And so although I made good money as a corporate attorney, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, never was I making the millions of dollars that the people I was advising was making. So this, to me, 5 Links was an opportunity for me to position myself now to make the kind of money that I had been advising other people to make. And what's interesting is that I've seen so many business plans to raise hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to launch it. I have never seen an opportunity as good as the one I've seen with 5 Links opportunity. There's no comparison. This is by far the best financial decision I've ever made. And it's because of that at such a young age, 45 years old, I'm fully retired. And life is good. One of the things I love most about this opportunity is the number of lives I've been able to touch. I remember my mom worked for the bank. My mom worked for Wachovia Bank for 30 years. When Wells Fargo bought out Wachovia, they let my mom go. And after 30 years of service, and now being significantly older than when she started, she didn't have a job. And I just remember thinking to myself, well, everything you've done for me, I'm going to make sure you're taken care of. And I was a successful attorney, so that became another household that I had to take care of, another household that I wanted to support, another household that I wanted to contribute to. In 4 years in this business, you get a check every week. Sometimes it might be $200. There have been times when it's been $2,000. But when you get that kind of check week after week after week, for her, she's making more money now than she ever made working for the bank as a national director. At Senior Vice President, you're still learning how to do this business. The first time you're building it to get to the Senior Vice President. Because as Senior Vice President, the comp plan completely opens up for you. But then, once you really find your niche, you really find your groove, you really find how to touch people without ever putting your hands on them, and how to move people. And then at Platinum is when you now get to start building for real wealth. I hadn't slept in 3 days in those last 3 days of trying to get to Platinum. But in spite of that, I remember jumping in the car and going straight to the Bentley dealership. Walked in, sweatpants, hadn't bathed in 2 days, hadn't slept in 2 days. And walked in thinking, I want that one right there. That feeling, can never describe what that feels like. And then he says, how would you like to pay for it, sir? I said, dial 5 Links. 2 days later, I walked out with the car. Walking across that stage as a Platinum Senior Vice President was one of the most phenomenal and remarkable things that I have in my recollection of just life in general. When Craig put that ring on my finger, that's when it felt real, because I still was pinching myself all the way up until that moment. That's when it became real. That's when everybody was congratulating us up until that point in time. But when they put that ring on my finger, that's when I knew it's real. I devote time to my 5 Links business every day. Those 2, 3, 4 hours that I may put in a day could be any point in time during the day. I may get up first thing in the morning and do a conference call with a group of people from 7 to 8. And then from there, I may go just live life and then do a 3-way call for someone at lunchtime. And if that's work, I can do this for the rest of my life. That's what I do for the entire day, live. My daughter wakes me up and I take time to play with her in the morning. I try to start my day. We're trying to put in time for fitness, exercise. And so every day is different, but every day is filled. And it's filled with things that are important to me. It's filled with pouring into other people. It's filled with giving back, because all I want to do now is create as many success stories as I can help create with this opportunity. I want everyone to know what this lifestyle feels like. What I do know is that I am absolutely unemployable. There's no way. I am mentally unfit to hold a job at this point. When I was practicing law, I worked 80, 90 hours a week. I was in a library grinding it every single day, or behind a desk grinding it every day, all over the country doing deals and structuring transactions. But there's no time for creativity outside that box. I've been able to, because of this opportunity, to really become bigger and better at any and all things that I want to do.